Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another Dead by Daylight video. And today we're going to be doing something slightly different. Today we're going to be talking about the current state of the game, my sort of experience at the moment, and how I feel about it. We're doing this survey that Alice I'd found on the internet. So we're going to jump in and have a look at that. Before we do that, I just want to say, if you're new here, my name's Tree. I play DBD quite casually. You can go look in the description for my Twitch and come and just say hi, even if it's just for a couple of minutes. It's really, really appreciated. Um, Anyways, I play a lot of Killer and a lot of Survivor. I have about 500 hours on the game, and I'm about 50-50 in terms of Survivor to Killer. So I completely and utterly understand both sides. I play for whatever I do as Survivor, I would do as Killer in terms of what I like and don't like. So, for example, as Survivor, I don't like NOED, so I would not ever run NOED as Killer. Okay, I don't like face camping. Okay, so I won't face camp as Killer. Okay, if I'm playing Survivor. Okay, and that's what I play around. I understand that Killer Survivors will run Decisive Strike, or Survivors will run Decisive Strike. So as Killer, or when I play Survivor, I will take Decisive Strike. Okay, because you're playing around the Killer, expecting the Killer to tunnel and play around a face cap, and I understand that completely. Okay, so today we're going to be breaking down how I feel at the current state of the game, by just doing this player satisfaction survey. I have no clue how long it is, but hopefully you guys can get a bit of a more feeling of how I feel about the game. And if you have any comments or questions, or you disagree with anything I say, please leave a comment down below, and I'll happily respond to what you're saying. So let's jump in. So the first question here is, overall, how satisfied are you with Dead by Daylight? And to be honest, there's a lot of things in this game at the moment that annoy you and frustrate people. And depending on whatever side you are. For example, one of the things that really annoys me at the moment in the game is playing Blight. Blight is probably one of the best killers, and for some people, arguably could be the strongest, or going to be the strongest in the future, down to the skill ceiling that he provides. But one of the things that annoys me is if you're swinging for a pallet and you get stunned as Blight, you can't use your power. You have to swing, or you have to wait a few seconds before you can use your power. And you can get other glitches like this in the game where you can't use his power. There'll be an object in front of you and you'll charge into it and you'll slide right off, even if you're right at the beginning of this object. One of the examples of this is Backwater Swamp. You play Backwater Swamp as Blight, you will find that 90% of the time when you try and lethal dash off anything, you can't. You can't. You just get completely and utterly stuck. So because of that, stuff like that, it really frustrates me. There are loads of bugs. There are people that are toxic. And playing, for me, Survivor is just so impossible unless I'm in a Swift, because I'll have players that generally have no clue what they're doing. They may not save you. They don't understand some basic protection hit taking. They'll wait at the exit gate where you're running and you're injured and the killer's right behind you, and they could just walk behind you and you would get out. And because of that, I do not like the game. However, when I play Killer, I have my own pace. I can sort of do what I want. I'm playing to improve rather to win. It's really, really good fun, and I enjoy it so much. I've just started playing and understanding Billy a lot more, and he is so much fun. I've just started playing Twins. She's so much fun. And because of that and the state of that and how it feels to play those killers, I'm satisfied with that area, and I'm dissatisfied with Killer, with Survivor and stuff in Survivor. When you play any Survivor, there's no killer you like to play against, pretty much, because pretty much every single killer you play against has something you don't like about them. Spirit, no one likes playing against the Spirit. Nurse is not fun to play against. An extremely good Nurse because you're just going to die straight away, and the whole of your team is down in like 90 seconds, especially if they've got something like Starstruck. And that frustration annoys me very much. So crappy Nurse is easy to play against and super fun. And this is just like a couple of examples where the list goes on for pretty much all the killers. All the newer killers, Nemesis, he's not fun to play against. The strategy against Nemesis is you just W key, you don't drop pallets, and you hope that he respects the pallets with his power. And then eventually he might clock on or not, and that's basically it. There's no real mind games against Nemesis or Pyramid Head or Deathslinger, and that's very frustrating. And if people don't see this pattern here, I find Killer really fun, and I don't find Survivor very fun. Unless you're playing with a Swift, and it doesn't even have to be a hard Swift, a hardcore Swift. Just a Swift that communicates, is playing on the same page, either for fun or seriously, that makes a big difference. But solo queue is just a big no-no for me. So I'm going to go neutral for this one because I'm not satisfied. I am satisfied in some areas, but I'm dissatisfied in others. I would have wished they broke this down into 2 sections, as survivor and as killer, because that way I could have really expressed what I meant. To what extent do you agree with the following? Dead by Daylight is fun. Well, Dead by Daylight inherently is fun, and it comes down to how you take the game and how you feel about the game. If you take the game very, very seriously, then you might not find that as fun. Okay, then if you play to improve or play with funny meme builds, or you're playing in a Swift, and actually, to be honest, I would inherently say I agree, and I would say it's fun. Why? Because I play the game every day, and if I didn't find it fun, then I wouldn't play the game every day. I wouldn't have it as my main outlet for streaming if I didn't think it was fun. Dead by Daylight is worth the time I spend on it. And I would probably say that is true. I can see really like the progress I've made as killer from when I first started. I can turn around and talk to someone and teach someone the basic fundamentals. The other day, I jumped into a call with a guy called Mario, and we spent 2 hours. And I spent half an hour wanting to learn like billy curves. That's why I joined in. And I actually ended up realizing that this guy was new, especially Survivor. And I taught him how, as killer, to loop Killer Shack or anti-loop Killer Shack efficiently as any other killer. We did some chases, and it turned from me just trying to do some curves to actually him taking something away from that. And that was very, very enjoyable. And I felt like I had solidified some stuff that I had learned in the game. And then finally, I feel that the game is fair. And anyone that plays this game seriously will find that this game is not fair. It just isn't. And I have to go with strongly disagree, because anyone who takes this game seriously will know that there are such imbalances. And it goes as this: a Swift versus a killer. The Swift is so much stronger, especially if it's a good, capable Swift, unless you're playing those S tier killers, Blight, Nurse, and Spirit. You're probably gonna lose. Like most of the times, you might come out with a 2K, but if you're a newer killer or you make a couple mistakes, you're probably gonna get 1 kill, if none at all. Against a disorganized Swift or a standard casual Swift, if you're a good killer, you will win 90% of the time. And you'll see anyone that plays a lot of game, Oatstar, for example, Dowsy, just to name a couple of killer players, they will 4K most games, purely down to the fact that they have thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of the game. For me, it's 50-50 if I win a game or not. It generally depends on my perk build and the killer I'm playing. If I'm playing Twins with Ruin and Dying build, I will win most of my games. I've played 35 games of Twins recently, and actually out of those games I've won 25 or more. I think I've lost like 4 or 5 of them. And when I say lose, I mean got 1 kills or less, and I've drawn probably about 5 to 10 of those games. And because of that, you can see, because I'm playing someone that's a stronger killer with a stronger build, that makes a big difference. But against those really, really sweaty teams, if they play well on a good map, you lose. If it's Haddonfield against the Swift, you just lose. If it's the new map, which is terrible, you just lose. And these concerns and questions and things I'm saying matter very much, in the sense that the game isn't fun as Survivor unless you're Swifting, because you just bully bad killers. And as a killer, if you're playing against a strong Swift, you get bullied as well. So it's difficult to know and feel and say that the game is fair. Now, I play to improve. I play for 12 hook mainly. The only time I sort of proxy is after endgame collapse. I've got to 1 hook. There's no point trying to chase other survivors, because if they just chase other survivors, they're just going to unhook and they're going to get that 4K. And I've had examples of that in the past where that's actually happened. And other than that, I play very much around a 12 cook. I'm learning more to play around a proxy and playing around punishing survivors that sit on gens and don't save their teammates. If a players are very close to going to stage 2, I will now play around that hook, force them into stage 2, because no one's saved. They've sit on gens or they've healed, and they've not focused on saving. Or if they're all injured and no one's looking to even save, then they can't save, because otherwise they just get downed, and they don't even trade the 1-for-1. They just die. So that's obviously something to be aware of, and I sort of understood better. But as I said, I feel that the game is just not fair. It just is not fair at the moment. That comes down to map imbalances mainly. If all the maps were the same, then you would have a very good position to move on from there, and look to balance the killers, because there's no point balancing Huntress, because on Hawkins she's still going to be shit, or Larry she's still going to be shit. Well, so which role do you mainly play? Both equally. At one rank, do you generally play each role? I play red rank on both. That's just the state. When as soon as you've played more than sort of 100 hours in the game on both roles, you should be red rank. If you're not red rank, then you're clearly doing something wrong, because it's not hard to get red ranks. So I play on PC. When did you start playing DBG? I tried to work out when it was. I'm pretty sure 2019 was, because I can remember the anniversary cakes of 103%. So like the ones before the Ghostly Gatto. So I'm pretty sure it was 2019. I couldn't remember actually what killer it was. If I work out what it is, then I'll put it obviously up here in big. But I'm pretty damn sure it was 2019. How many days a week do you spend at least 30 minutes playing Dead by Daylight? And I would say probably 6 to 7. I pretty much play every single day. And if I'm not playing every single day, then I might have a good day when I have 4 hours or 5 hours in the game, and then another day when I don't play. How many days a week do you spend at least 30 minutes playing other video games? Let me open my Steam library and have a look and see if there's anything else that I might be playing at the moment in time. Actually, you know what? I'm going to up this and put it at 4 to 5, because pretty much every day, not every day, but pretty much every day, I'm jumping on a different game, so that obviously I can understand and get a break from Dead by Daylight. So that's an interesting question. How would you rate your experience with the matchmaking in the last 3 months? Matchmaking time. Well, again, this just generally comes down to what role you play. Like, if you play Survivor, the queue times are quite good. If you play Killer, everyone wants to play Killer during the day because no one's swiffing. Whereas in the evening, you'll have people that come off of work and they swift. And because of that, the Killer times get way, way better. But during the day, for example, when I've just been queuing now, what's the time? It's 10 to 12 right now. I've been playing for probably about an hour this morning. The queue times have been, 5-10 minutes? And because of that, I'm going to have to go for negative. Because the Survivor queue times are really good. So I would go neutral, but again, they need to be breaking this down into Survivor and Killer, because this isn't useful. Yeah, you've just asked if I play Survivor or Killer, but my Survivor queue times are amazing, and my Killer queue times are shit. Teammates matched with skill level. So this is teammates, so obviously that's his Survivor, and I have to say it's crap. It's so bad. I can't express how bad when I'm playing Killer it is. It's so bad. When I'm playing Survivor, it's just the survivors just have no clue. Really don't. You might get an extremely good survivor, and then another survivor that's got 20 hours on the game, and it's just like, why am I even doing this? Why am I even bothering? Opponents matched against match skill level. So this is opponents. This is Killer when you're playing Survivor, or Survivor when you're playing Killer. And to be honest, if I'm being brutally honest, I queue at red ranked, maybe with a couple of purple people, and we will always get a rank 1 killer. Always get a rank 1 killer. Or not always, but like 90% of the time we will get rank 1. And because of that, I have to be negative. But when playing Killer, I've actually had some really decent opponents. My twins, when I'm playing twins, my MMR I think is really good for twins, as I was explaining the games before. And actually, when I play the twins, it's the games are tough. When I'm queuing up like optimal time, which is in the evening, they're very, very tough. As I was saying previously, depends on the time you play. At 7 p.m, the games are mediocre, and then as you get towards probably about 10 p.m, the games get very, very good. And then after sort of 12 a.m, the opponents are so bad when you play Killer. They're so bad. So it definitely comes down to sort of what time you actually play against people. But generally, when you're playing a Survivor, you don't get matched against people of your rank. I don't know if that's because I'm a mass higher. As Killer, it just varies, and because of that, I'm gonna have to go for negative here. Resident Evil. Okay, so this has just been a bit of a shit show. when it first came out, it was extremely promising and interesting and enjoyable to watch, and I was like, this could be a really good chapter. Um, I actually really enjoyed the perks they brought out. This was probably one of the first sort of events or DLCs where the actual uh, perks that the people brought out were very good. Uh, Leon had flashbang, which is obviously really entertaining. The mine is very interesting from the girl. Counterforce from the girl, I mean from Jill. Counterforce is a very interesting perk, which is very useful. It's a slightly different style of detective's hunch. But Nemo, he's just one of those killers that's feels not very good when you play him. Not that I have actually played Nemesis. This is from other opinion because I generally haven't played him. And yes, I've played. Can I tick these? Okay. Have you played the latest Dead by Daylight? Yes, I played Survivor, Leon. I have not played this killer. I played against whoever or not players. Okay. I know I have not played as a survivor killer. Okay. So yeah, as I was saying, Nemesis is like one of those killers which is quite strong in 1v1, but he has no other map pressure other than his RNG zombies, which is just not fun because either you play killer and they're shit, or you have a bad map and they're shit, or they can be the most annoying thing a survivor ever, and you generally can't do anything. You can't heal, or they're protecting a gen, or they're protecting a hook, and you're just like, what the fuck am I even supposed to do? And because of that, people just WQ against him. He's 4.4. You just run as far as you can. You get to a loop, and I think I mentioned this before. You get to a loop, you run around a loop, and then you hope he just doesn't. He just respects pallets, and then after about two or three loops, if the killer's smart, will go, okay, he's respecting the pallet. I will hit him, and if you can reverse him or you can fake the double back and hit him, then he's just fucked. And there was a game where I was on Temple of Purgation the other day, and I looped him at the beginning. No, didn't loop him at all for very long. But because of the way it worked and because of how I just looped him, he played well. He didn't make a mistake. He downed me. He hooked me. He went for someone else that was on a gen. One gen popped. He chased that person. Not a very long chase. Down that person, hooked him. And by that time, we have 3 gens popping. The 4th one's on the go. I've been unhooked. And he just has no map pressure purely down to the fact that he hasn't really made a mistake. Maybe he could have went off of rather than get chasing me at the beginning, gone for someone on a gen. But it wasn't like I was looping him for 10 years. It was just the fact that he has no map pressure. It's not someone like Plague where the moment you hook someone, 3 or 4 people are injured. And that's the problem with Nemesis, as anyone else would say that's played a lot of the game or played a lot of Nemesis. He's strong in the chase, but has no map pressure. Tofu did a really good video on this. I'll link it down in the description, or I'll put a card in the top corner and sort of break down what I mean when I'm saying. So I heard through content creators, through Oatstarver, obviously, he was streaming it. Overall, how satisfied you with latest chapter? And I'm going to have to say dissatisfied. Other than the perks, and to be honest, the perks aren't anything meta, they're not changing. They're just fun meme perks. Flashbang is just a meme perk. And the same with the trap, the gen trap is just a meme perk. Overall, how satisfied are you with the following? The general theme of the chapter. So that was quite interesting. I mean, I haven't played any of the Resident Evil sort of theme at all, but at least the killer is like a killer, right? He's actually a killer. My friend talks about how the trickster, when he throws his knives, he looks so pathetic. Okay, and some of the other killers are like, how is this even a killer? Like Jeff is more of a killer than some other killers because of if you see some of his outfits, he's like, oh my gosh, he's scary, especially the one with the chains. The game play as the killer. I haven't played it, so I can't. The gameplay against the killer, and I have to say, it's not fun. It's not fun at all. And I'm in between really hating against the killer or not. And I'm probably going to go for dissatisfied purely down to the fact that against a not very good Nemo, it's quite fun to play against him. Against the decent Nemo, it's not fun. So I have to go dissatisfied. The technical performance of the chapter. And I presume this is bugs. And I'm going to have to go with very fucking shit because because of all the bugs with the new map, it's not good, right? There's been so many bugs with the new map, and they still haven't fixed them. You still can't offer and use offerings on the new map. So like if you can't do that, 3 or 4 weeks after it's been released, I think they said 2 months was the quote the other day, and my friend had said it's been 2 months. Then what the fuck's going on, dev team? I'm sorry, what the fuck is going on? 2 months and you still haven't fixed one of the maps. You gotta shortly shout. Did you play Dead by Daylight prior to acquiring this chapter? Yes, actively. How familiar are you with the Resident Evil franchise? I watched Resident Evil 7 playthrough of what was it? It was Markiplier, and that was really, really good. It was the Resident Evil 7 though. So I'm slightly familiar, but not really. Counterforce. So these are like the perks, and as I say, it was probably one of the few things that I was actually generally interested with, and actually maybe like what was going on, and it really interested me. So let's go through and just break through and talk about them. So Counterforce was obviously the cleanse totem one. That's very, very nice. Very, very nice. Resurgence, after being unhooked, I don't think I've come across one person that's run this. The only time I ran this was when I was doing the Adept for Jill. And to be honest, it's not bad. It's just you only get it 3 times in a game after being hooked, unhooked, or unhooking yourself. Yeah, you only get it 3 times in a game, so there's better perks than this one here. It's you might as well run will make it, because that way you get it all your teammates rather than running this, and you get it for a period of time. And that because of that, Resurgence is not that relevant. And Blast Main is just fun. It's just a fun perk. I've had moments where I've just had someone install a Blast Mine, or I've installed it, and then the killer kicks it, and you just sit there and laugh because he's just blown himself up. But again, other than that, it's not very good. How fun is it to play with the following survivor perks? So as I said, Counterforce is good. Resurgence is just not really. Is it to play with the following survivor perks? So is that against or what? I mean, I'll put a little because it's not bad. It's just there's better perks, and then Blast Mine is hilarious as well. So yeah, what potential does each new perk have to work well with other character perk synergies? Well, as I said, Counterforce isn't really is good to work with something like Inner Strength. However, you have to find the first perk. So with new players, it can be not very relevant at all. Okay, Resurgence, blah, just doesn't. I can't think off the top of my head. It probably has a moderate chance of synergizing with something. Where you heal quickly, botany knowledge, self-care, stuff like that. Resurgence could be quite good. And Blast Mine it doesn't really synergize with anything. I can't think of something it would probably synergize with. Maybe it could synergize with Sprint Burst, because the killer can come over, you're working on the gen, and last minute you run away with Sprint Burst, and he has to decide if he's going to kick the gen, with which he blows up, get even more distance, or he chases you. And it sort of protects the gen. So I'd probably say a little chance to synergize. How would you rate the quality of the following features? I think she looks quite cool. I haven't read it, so I wouldn't know. How engaging do you find the general feeling and theme of Jill Valentine is? To be honest, I don't really care. If there was an NA, I would click it. I would say it's a little engaging. As I said, it doesn't really interest me, so it's probably not at all, but I think it has a chance. Bite the bullet. When healing, you make no noise, including goods of pain. Failed skill checks, not trigger a loud notification, and only apply regression penalty. Oh, healing skill check. Well, this is just shit. Okay? It's just shit. I'm sorry. Flashbang is very fun, and Rookie Spirit. I'm not gonna lie. This is good. This is actually good, especially if you're a new player. If you were new to the game and you bought the DLC and played this guy, this gen is useful. It's very useful. And for some reason, I'm going to say moderately because of that. It's got very good potential. What potential does each new perk have to work well with, other than character perk synergistically? What potential does each? Yeah, this is what I'm saying before. Just I don't even think I'm gonna even I hate that perk. Uh, it has quite a few chances because you can, because you can pair it with like inner strength or head on or something along those lines. A meme build it works quite well with, and then rookie spirit. It doesn't really pair well with anything really. I mean, in theory, you could pair it with something like leader, or I mean not leader, but prove thyself. And that way you can go, okay, if you're queuing with someone, you can go, okay, there's this gen regressing here, let's jump on it, and then we can work on that together. It could be cool for calling up gens to work on together. So I'll say a moderate chance of uh, of being able to pair with something. How would you rate the quality of the following feature? Again, I think he's quite cool. Um, I think they've done really cool with the character designs. I like them, and I haven't read the story, so it doesn't matter. How engaging do you find the general feeling? And again, I'll just put a little because I generally haven't looked into the backstory of either of them, and because of that, I can't really have an opinion. The zombies released by the Nemesis operate with artificial intelligence. They're not controlled by any player. Very dissatisfied. I don't think the AI is bad. It's just RNG. It's just RNG. And anyone that knows my opinion on Hex totems and the RNG and the fact that there's no consistency with them, upsets me so much that I can't. You could spawn into a map, as I said before, and the killer, you don't see a zombie while the whole game. I mean, you can see a zombie, but it doesn't affect you. And then in other games, it can be the most annoying thing ever. And it's just because of that, either you play as killer or the survivor, and it's a lose-lose. It's never, oh yeah, it's fair. The killer loses, the survivor has no fun because the zombies being a pain in the ass. And I'll insert a clip here of my experience with the zombies. And as a survivor, as a killer, you could have the whole game where your zombies just don't do anything. And it's just like, what the fuck? So they need to work something out, and they need to work out how they're gonna make them so they have a certain generation, or have some sort of benefit. I mean, a lot of people said that Nemesis doesn't even need zombies, and I probably agree with that. He generally doesn't need zombies. It's just not relevant. To what extent do you agree or disagree with the following regarding playing a match on a zombie? I feel skilled when my zombies injure a survivor. Well, that's just no skill, it's just RNG. Zombies give the killer an unfair benefit in the match. I somewhat agree with that. Yeah. It's just it's RNG at the end of the day. But again, the reason why I would only put somewhat and not strongly is because it comes down to RNG. So at some stages, there's no benefit for the killer to gain, other than increasing his power, which is minor anyways. Using the zombies adds a dynamic element to the Dead by Daylight. I don't even know what you're chatting there. Gameplay with the zombies kept me interested without overwhelm. No, they're not interesting at all. They're just a pain in the fucking ass. Using the zombies require that I adapt my gameplay. They just make me not be able to heal someone. But how is that fun? How is that adapting my gameplay? I've connected to all players in the match. When I do well in the match as Nemesis, it is because I played well at that match. That's not applicable. Can I go neutral then? Because I don't play Nemesis. I felt very capable and effective when using the zombies in a match. It's not even true in the slightest. I don't even play it, but it just there's the odd one in like, I don't know, 500 times where you'll get a zombie at the loop, where you're the Nemesis, and the survivor can't do shit about it. And that's the problem is, yes, in theory, the killer can use the zombie and use it as a strategy, but at the same time, it's just the survivor, not having the chance to mind game. It's like super safe pallets. There's no skill in playing around a super safe pallet. You loop Bran and then you drop the pallet, and the killer has to break the pallet. It's the same with a zombie at a loop. If there's a zombie at the loop, you just have to leave the loop. There's nothing more you can do that than just leave the loop. And because of that, there's no strategy there. There's no skill, and it's random. So you might, as I said, you might have 20 games where there's no zombie at any loop, so there's no skill there at all, and no consistency. To what extent do you agree or disagree with the following regarding playing a match with the AI as a survivor? Oh, was this about the killer? Oh yeah, that's fine. I feel connected. No, I felt very capable and effective when it came to countering zombies. Nope. I mean, in somewhat disagree. There were times where I would benefit more from running around a zombie than Nemesis, but it's far from few. And no, I'm just gonna put strongly disagree. I feel that other survivors are on a team. Zombies can give the killer unfair benefit. Somewhat agree. So players playing against the zombies are no. I have skill evade when I evade a zombie and no, just no. Gameplay against zombies kept me interested without overwhelming me. Zombie countering the zombies requires. There's no gameplay strategy there. I'm gonna go back up here and jump into the killer. And where is it? Adapt strategy. I'm gonna put this as somewhat agree because there are times where you can use the zombies. When they go up, the killer can see that, so he knows that the zombies are there. So in theory, there is that strategy there, and I guess you can play on the zombies more. I was thinking this was Survivor. I'm not reading the questions. So yeah, I guess I'll change that to somewhat agree because actually, yeah, no, I'm wrong. Okay. The following are a series of trials outcomes. Some are subtle, while some are more related to the key gameplay. Please evaluate whether or not each outcome is enough, but it's by itself for you to feel that you won a match as a killer. Oh, this is good. I like this. So this is talking about outcomes. So just so you guys know what I feel about outcomes, it's very simple. At the end of the day, survivors are trying to escape and killers are trying to sacrifice people. So at the end of the day, winning, you full out win the match if you go everyone, and the survivors win full out if everyone survives. However, at the end of the day, there are 4 survivors. So in theory, if there are 2 survivors that die and 2 that escape, it's a draw. So if you get 3 or more, you win, and if you get 1 or less, you lose. It's that simple. Now, some people play around 12 hook, which is kind of what I play around. So obviously, again, it depends on what sort of hook you want to talk about. But generally, I go 2K is a draw, and this is why I run a 2K streak when I stream. It's always a 2K streak. It's not a 3K. It's not 4K. I don't maliciously go to slug out the last guy. It's not fun. It's just a waste of time. I generally give the last person hatch, and if I can't find hatch within like a minute, I generally just hook them because I CBA to spend the rest of the game walking around. I play for fun, and slugging isn't, or trying so hard to get a 4K is not fun. Um, Camping someone out of the game so that you can win because you have 3 survivors alive at 4 gens because you camped 1 guy is not fun. Because that's the survivors being bad, and although in theory you should punish that, it's not enjoyable. It's just not my playstyle. So one survivor has sacrifice is neither a success nor a win. So yeah, I gained at least 20,000 blood points. This is not relevant. My rank increased after the match. This is successful, but not a win. Again, as I say, 2 wins is a draw. If you get more than that, it's a win. If two kills is a draw. More than that is a win. Less than that is a loss. And you could bring hooks into that. And as I'll say in a moment, it generally comes down if you're improving or you're playing to win. At the end of the day, that's what it purely comes down to. Again, multiple pips after the match. That's a successful, but not a win. And winning purely comes down to escaping, in my opinion. So if you escape, I mean, this is killer. I have to remember it's killer. So multiple pips after a match probably means you had a pretty damn good match because you're not going to get 2 pips unless you sacrifice people. And I think the same with escaping. Can you get 2 pips without escaping? I don't think you can you? You have to escape. So maybe it is a win purely down to the fact that how pipping works. It's difficult to actually physically say. I'm going to say yes because the state of the way the game works. I think you have to kill everyone to get double pip. In addition, you have to not only kill everyone, you have to sacrifice everyone by hooking them. And similarly, with escaping, I think you can't double pip unless you escape. So we will skip that. Okay. I hope survivors 8 to 9 times with 1 sacrifice. So this basically means everyone's on death. Because 9 hooks basically means you killed someone and everyone else is on death. And I would actually say this is a win. When I just did it now, I was like, it's successful, but it's not a win. In theory, it is actually a win because if you played differently, you could have killed 2 people. Okay, you played probably fairly if you have 8 to 9 hooks. You're not tunneling. You're not playing rude. You know what? We'll stick with what I was saying. We'll put it as it's successful but not a win because at the end of the day, you didn't get 2 kills. You didn't draw. And either a win or success. 2 survivors were sacrificed. This is successful, not a win. 3 survivors were sacrificed. This is a win. I completed my archive. This is not relevant. 4 survivors were sacrificed. Yeah, this is definitely a win. I sacrificed 1 survivor, but the gameplay was done. This is probably a successful match, but really, it's an in real life win. That's not an in-game win, but it's an in real life win because you came out feeling positive in a DVD game. Then, it's an in real life win. I'm gonna have to go successful anyways because it's not really in terms of the game, and I think that's what they come down to at the end of the day. It's not a win. So, but it is in real life, and I hope this makes sense to people. And if it doesn't, leave a comment, and I'll talk about what I mean by this. I hit survivors 4 to 5 times, no sacrifices. That's not particularly good. I would say over 6 hooks is a decent game. I gained at least 10,000 blood points. This is not relevant. This is not. This is a success. If you have 30k blood points in the game, I'd take that. And I presume that's without add-ons and offerings and stuff. That's good because that's nearly max points because 32k is the max points you can get. So that's a good game. I hooked survivors 9 times with 3 sacrifices. That was a pretty damn good game. I gained 1 pip after a match. That's a success, but it wouldn't necessarily is a win. I sacrificed 3 survivors, but the gameplay left me frustrated. This is a win. It's not an in real life. It's like the opposite of this one over here. It's inferior. It's a win, but in real life, it's not a win. It's a sadness. I hooked. It's like a win, but in an successful game because you won, but you didn't feel good. I hooked survivors at 8 to 9 times with 2 sacrifices. To be honest, I would say this is a successful game. Inferior is a draw. So people could argue that's a win. But if it comes down to the basics, 3 people, 2 people died, 2 people escaped. It's really a draw. I hooked survivors 6 to 7 times with no sacrifices. This is a successful game. You pretty much everyone on death hook nearly. I mean, for me, I would say that's a good game. It depends what I'm playing and depends how I feel. If it's just going being generic, it's probably not a win or a success. But it just depends on who you're playing. More than not, if I have a 7 hook game or 6 to 7 hook game, I go, okay, well, I probably made a few mistakes. It's probably my fault. The following are a series of trial outcomes. Some are subtle, while some are more relevant to key gameplay. Please evaluate whether or not each outcome is enough by itself, or you feel that you've won a match as a survivor. So this is the survivor rather than as the killer. I could have escaped, but I sacrificed trying to save another survivor. I successfully saved that survivor, and they escaped. And this comes down to mindset and what you're talking about in terms of winning. If you're saying as a survivor you win if you escape, then this isn't winning. This is successful but did not win, and that's probably what I would say. But again, it comes down to what you say winning and what's improving. When I play survivor, I don't play to escape because if I won't play to escape, when 3 people are on hook or 1 person's on hook, 2 people are with me, the correct play to win would be leave, not to save my teammate. But I play to improve, to help my teammates, and in a way, that's like an in real life win. But when it comes down to the game as itself, winning is if you escape. So I would say it's successful, but not a win. I was supposed to be sacrificed, multiple generators remained, but the gameplay was dynamic fun. Again, this is successful. 1 generator was completed, but I was sacrificed. This is not successful. I escaped with at least 1 other survivor. This is a win. I gained at least 10,000 blood points. It's so weird though. When I play survivor, I don't think, oh right, if we got 2 escapes, then we drew the game. I never think that. I never think like that. Unlike a killer, I think it's because at the end of the day, it's more about yourself when you're survivor and escaping. Then everyone else in your team, like people will never take the 3k. They will always try and go for the 4k. If 3 people are alive, and not on hook, and this killer's proxy camping, they will always try and save, rather than just taking the 3k. And that's very interesting. The new hardcore start challenge that Oatstarver's doing, they go for the 4ks every time, and that's an interesting approach, an interesting thing to look at. I gained at least 10,000 blood points. But as I said, I escaped with 1 other survivor. I would definitely say that um it's a win because you escaped. I gain at least 10,000 blood points. This is just not relevant. One survivor escaped, but I did not. This is not a win. Three survivors escaped, but I did not. This was successful, but not a win for me because I didn't escape. I gained at least 20,000 blood points. Nope. I escaped, but the gameplay left me frustrated, upset, and feeling real. That's a win. It's just not an in real life win. I could have escaped, but I was a sacrifice trying to save another survivor. I was not able to save the survivor, and neither of us escaped. Well, that's just depressing, isn't it? Most anyways were completed, but I was sacrificed. That's not a win. I gained multiple pips off the match. That's probably a win. I gained 1 pip off the match. That's successful. 2 generators were completed before I was sacrificed. It's not relevant. I completed my challenge. Not relevant. 3 generators not relevant. The exit gates were open before I was sacrificed. Not relevant. 4 generators were completed before I was not relevant. My rank increased after the match. Success. All survivors escaped, but the gameplay left me frustrated, upset, and feeling poorly. Win. I gained at least 5,000. Win. No, probably successful, but it's probably a win if you got. What did I put for killer? Yeah, I put successful match. That's a fucking good successful match. 2 survivors escaped, but I did not. Not relevant. Only 1 escaped. Not relevant. Loss. Oh wow. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie. I'm here to suggest problems. I've got the tofu approach, and although I could probably spend like 20 minutes having a look and reading and deciding what I want to do, I will. I'm not gonna bother. If you guys want to comment down below what you feel like is a very good genre theme combination, then comment them down below and I'll be interested. But coming up myself, it's probably going to take too long. This video is already going to be long enough as it is. We're approaching, what, 50 minutes according to my timer. So I'm going to leave it and not bother. But again, if you're interested in this, please let me know down below. Really, really do, because this is actually really interesting. And I'd actually really be interested to see what people said. Do you follow Dead by Daylight on Twitter? Nope. Do you watch Dead by Daylight streams? Definitely. Do you play Dead by Daylight during the 5th event? Yes. What is your favorite name of your favorite Dead by Daylight streamer? Please write just the name. Oats Darby is definitely, in my opinion, the hands down most wholesomest streamer that streams DVD. There's no disregard to that at all. He's so easy to watch. He's super entertaining, and he's probably the only DVD streamer I watch a lot of. Like I will sit in his stream and watch him. Now, recently, they've done the hardcore series with Dowsy, and JRM and Aaron, but I don't actually watch any of them stream. Only Oats Darby. There's no other Dead by Daylight streamer I actually physically watch other than my dearest friend Poison. Poison is one of the people that I play a lot of games with. She does Survivor. She's very sweet. So I will put her in there as well because I actually actively watch her and play with her. And I'm a moderator on her channel. So I because I'm a moderator, it feels right to say that I actually watch her stream because I do. I literally have it open in the background. Not right now because I'm recording. But when I went to start recording this video, she was one of the tabs opened on my web browser. And then the final one, there's loads of other streamers out there that are really interesting and good to watch. As I said, Dowsy, JRM, Aaron, all these people I watch on YouTube that I don't actually watch here. Spooky Loops is a new person that I love and adore. I just watching his YouTube. Really interesting. But I don't watch him on Twitch. And the last one, who's probably my favorite YouTube content creator, is Otufu. I love his videos and I love his personality. And I laugh every time he says, "Oh, nice dead hard." So I would put him here, but I don't watch him as a streamer, so I can't vouch for him in this box. But definitely check out Poison. And if you don't know who Oatslover is, then you're living under a rock. Overall, how satisfied are you with the anniversary event? Just dissatisfied. I'm not very dissatisfied. I'm just dissatisfied. How did you hear about this event? Oh, anniversary event. This was good actually because you got loads of shit ton of blood points. I'm gonna put very satisfied because you just got like loads of blood points, so it's nice. How did you hear about this event? Same again, content creators. Please rank how appealing you found the elements of the event. Blood Point Glyph, yes. Earning crown competitors don't matter to me. Iridescent Shard gift, yes. Blood Point gift is always the best. Crown, best pedestal, gameplay mechanics. It's just, it was buggy as hell, man. I'm sorry. Unlocking anniversary outfits. I just don't care. I'm sorry. Unlocking anniversary outfits. Working as a community to earn rewards. I don't care. I think earning crown cosmetics was probably more of a thing for me. But the crown pedestal was just so shit. I'm sorry. Let's go. So, Bloodpoint Gift was the best. Iridescent Shard was the second best. Earning crown cosmetics, everyone was doing it, and I was doing it, so I have to put it up there. Unlucky anniversary shops, don't really care at all. Unlucky anniversary outfits, don't really care. Working as community earn rewards, you're just being cringe at this stage. I guess you could put it up there because it's a good idea. It was just done badly. And then crown pedestal game over. It's just so shit. You go to try and get a crown, and then you cancel it, and it just vanishes. It just breaks it. Were you aware of the community challenge going? I was like halfway through. What strength do you drew strongly? I enjoyed the community challenges. I agree somewhat. Participating in the community challenges made me feel like I was part of a special event. I guess I don't really have an opinion. I would like to see more community challenges. Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. I feel like part of team working towards the rewards. I don't know. I'm just going to go neutral. I feel the challenges were insufficient without an in-game component. Yeah, I guess. But it would just clog the UI. So I sort of agree, but at the same time I don't. Did you participate in any Dead by Daylight Pride Month videos? I did activate my Pride Charm. That was the only thing I actually saw. I didn't see the Inter-Rainbow streaming events. I didn't see the Mobile Pride Blood Hunt. But I did get my Pride Charm because I think it's worth doing. And every single person that's playing DBD should definitely search Pride, get that charm, and just equip it because it's just support certain groups, which is always a good thing. Overall, how satisfied are you in the video? I wasn't there. I prefer only watching the experienced players during. Nah, I disagree with that. It's good to have people that have all skill levels because it makes it more interesting. And just because someone isn't the best player in the world doesn't mean they're not entertaining. Okay, it's that plain and simple. Really, it's content creation in a nutshell. Lots of people that do content creation aren't particularly the best at all. Yeah, they're good players, but they're not necessarily insane. I think I'm going to leave this out of the video. I'll scroll down so you guys can see what I put. I basically put neutral for everything other than I prefer only to watch experienced players because I feel like everyone should be involved. But I wasn't involved in this event, so I'm not going to put it in the video because it doesn't make sense that I try and comment on something I wasn't involved in. How likely is it that you would recommend Dead by Daylight to a friend or college? I would say probably a colleague. That's my dyslexia. I would probably say I'd recommend it purely down to the fact that I want more people to play the fucking game with, and I don't want to be a fucking loner. So probably a 7. Because like, yeah, I want more people to play with, not because it's a good game. I mean, it kind of is a good game. It's just it needs work, devs. It needs work, devs. So let's go for a 7. In the last 3 months, have you recommended Dead by Daylight? I have, in theory, recommended. I have said to my friend, you should get this game and play with me. So I'll say yes. Which of the following best presents why you play Dead by Daylight? I want to dominate other players and shatter my head power. I wish you could choose multiple. I think I'm going to have to go for I want to master the gameplay and learn the play and spirits of the match. That doesn't mean that I enjoy earning loads of blood points because I think it's a mechanic that is reworked. But mastering the gameplay is the main reason why I play it. I play to improve and then play to get better. And at the same time, it would be this bottom one as well. I love doing the achievements and grinds and doing the challenges. It's fun. Now, in what country do you reside? United Kingdom. In what year were you born? 2001. Wait. How would you describe your experience level? I would say I'm probably an intermediate. I would say I'm the best at the game. I would probably say I'm an expert yet. There's a lot of stuff for me to learn. Yeah. Have anything else to share? Let us know. To say that I'm an expert would mean I've played all the killers, I understand how they work, and I haven't played all the killers. I haven't got all the survivor perks in the game. I think for you to be an expert, you would have had to got all the perks on at least one survivor and on most of the killers, which I don't have. And I think that's it. I could sit and write something forever, but we've spent an hour doing this, and I think that's it. I think I'm happy and in a position to say that this is a good survey. And okay, I just wrote at the bottom in this, have you anything else to share? Just to talk about the two biggest problems for me, which is map balance. Haddonfield is just inherently a losing map for killer, and matchmaking. Just survivor matchmaking shit. You got 90% of the ranks, red ranks, and it's unfair on those more experienced players. But I guess it's what makes the game more casual. And that's it. Thank you so much for tuning in with the video. I hope you enjoyed. And if you watched the end, thank you so much. Please leave a like and subscribe for more, because you clearly enjoyed the video. And of course, as always, have a great afternoon, and I'll see you in the next one.